and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Hello, everyone. Today on Good Morning Maine, a tragic ending this week in the search for a missing teenager from Orono. We'll have the details coming up.
Plus, a group of candidates vying to be Maine's next governor held a forum to discuss the future of Maine's healthcare system.
And ice jams continue to be a concern this week, especially for residents in the Maxfield area where some people have been evacuated.
Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Janessa Bishop.
And I'm Craig Colson. Thank you for joining us this Thursday morning. We'll have those stories and more coming up. First, a little breaking news to tell you about. We've learned about sounds like a bad house fire in the town of Wynne, which of course is in northern Penobscot County up near the Lee area. It broke out around 1:50 this morning on the Wynne Road. We don't know much about it, but there were early reports that there might have been some entrapment in that house. Somebody might have been trapped inside. Fire crews spent the early morning hours at the scene, and as soon as we know more, we'll pass it on to you. Meanwhile, let's start with a check of the forecast. Looking like a quiet, cloudy day ahead today.
It sure is. We'll turn things over to meteorologist Devin Biggs.
And thank you very much, Craig and Janessa. Happy Thursday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Quality Automotive and Brewer. Experience a Quality Automotive difference. Reliable service and expert care that you can depend on. Call us to schedule your next appointment. 922-2043. Alrighty, here we go. We have some clouds that are passing through this morning. Otherwise, looking pretty quiet. It's going to be a quiet day for us, but we will be watching for more snow that will be on the way for us coming up later on tonight. As we do zoom things out, not a whole lot going on, a little bit of snow developing further off towards the west. Our next wave of energy will be further off towards the north and west. So as we check out Futurecast, we will have clouds developing. Futurecast trying to show a little bit of snow, but we will be under a mostly cloudy sky for us today. And there's that next wave of energy further off towards the north and west that will be passing through for us later on tonight, clearing out as we head towards your Friday. As for the wind, we'll have some gusty winds up to around 25 miles per hour, and that will be backing off later on tonight, but picking up again as we head towards your Friday, backing off for a little bit during the afternoon. Your hourly forecast moving forward. Again, some clouds out there with temperatures warming into the 30s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Craig and Janessa.
Thank you, Devin. We'll see you later on. Well, it was a sad ending in the search for a missing 19-year-old man from Orono. Chance Lauer had been missing from his Orono apartment since January 20th. His body was found Tuesday of this week in a retention pond near his home. Our Callie Warren has more.
A sobering moment for the Orono and University of Maine community. Months of searching for 19-year-old Chance Lauer has ended in the way that nobody wanted. Chance Lauer was last seen in late January. He had no vehicle and his phone and wallet weren't with him when he disappeared. Lauer was known to frequent a walking trail near a retention pond close to his apartment at Orchard Trails in Orono. His remains were found in that pond by a passerby on Tuesday. The Office of the Chief Medical Examiner has positively identified his remains. An autopsy is pending, but police say his death does not appear to be suspicious. An individual who identified themselves as a family member of Lauer took to Facebook to say, quote, "He was recovered from a pond near his Orono apartment yesterday afternoon. He went out for a walk 8 weeks ago and fell through the ice," end quote. Down East Emergency Medicine Institute, or DEME, says multiple searches had been held in hopes of locating Lauer in the weeks since he went missing, including near that very pond.
Yeah, and some indications that he should be here. There's not anything missing that would indicate that he was far away, so he should be right here.
That was DEME Medical Director Robert Bowie in January, talking about the search at the apartment complex. Wednesday, Bowie released a statement to us saying in part, quote, "DEME has been continuously searching for Chance Lauer since he went missing in January. The pond has been an area of interest since the beginning, as apartment employee interviews indicated it as an area he would frequent," end quote. The Maine Warden Service was also involved in the search for Lauer, and according to DEME, a challenge in this search was the winter weather. It is not known exactly when Lauer passed away or what his cause of death was. As of now, we've been told that the results of his autopsy could take up to 8 weeks to come back. In studio, I'm Callie Warren for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
In other news this morning, Maine State Police have arrested a Skowhegan man in connection with a deadly shooting last month in Augusta. According to spokesperson Shannon Moss, 30-year-old Edward Longley was apprehended in Skowhegan and charged with murder and elevated aggravated assault in connection with a shooting on Flag Street in Augusta on February 2nd. 51-year-old Billy Jack Curtis of Augusta died from the injuries he sustained in that shooting. His manner of death was ruled a homicide. 40-year-old Sherry Gilly of Brunswick was also injured in that incident. She is currently recovering from her injuries. Longley is being held at the Somerset County Jail without bail.
Rockland police arrested 3 people after getting a complaint about suspected drug use at a local subsidized housing unit for the elderly and those with disabilities. 43-year-old Mark Gagney is charged with felony possession of drugs and a probation violation. He was just released from custody days before on charges including drug trafficking and abuse of a corpse for allegedly burning the body of a man who had been shot to death. 29-year-old Michaela Batty is charged with several counts of unlawful possession of drugs and violation of conditions of release. She was out on several sets of pre-conviction bail conditions at the time of her arrest. And 30-year-old Tiana Brancella of Warren is charged with aggravated drug trafficking and violation of conditions of release. Brancella was also out on bail at the time. During the investigation, police say they seized over 50 grams of fentanyl along with methamphetamine.
The State Fire Marshal's office is investigating a fire in Waterville and issuing an important reminder for the public. Investigators responded to 3 Aubrey Street in Waterville on Tuesday morning at around 10:30 after being called by the Waterville Fire Department. The fire was contained to the enclosed porch of the residence, which sustained heavy damage. Investigators concluded it started due to improper disposal of oil-based staining rags that were placed in a trash bag. The Fire Marshal's office is reminding the public about being diligent when disposing of these types of materials. They say when confined, staining rags can spontaneously combust and cause a fire. The rags should be disposed of safely outside the residence or garage. They should also be submerged in a bucket of water or laid out flat to dry on a non-combustible surface, such as dirt or a paved driveway.
A building full of potatoes was destroyed by fire up in northern Maine. It was just before 2 o'clock Wednesday morning when firefighters were called to a large fire threatening a potato storage building on Route 1 in Limestone. By the time the scene was cleared 2 hours later, the fire had already destroyed the potato house and a small amount of potatoes. Fortunately, no injuries are reported. The owners suspect a problem with the heating system started the fire. The fire marshal's office will check for sure.
Senator Susan Collins is speaking out on the prolonged partial government shutdown affecting the Department of Homeland Security. She put the decision to shut down the government squarely on the shoulders of Democrats, who she says walked away from a bipartisan DHS funding bill and blocked other efforts to pass a short-term solution. She said in part, quote, "The White House made a good faith offer last month that builds on the reforms included in the bipartisan funding bill negotiated earlier this year, with new safeguards to protect both the American public and law enforcement and increased oversight." Democrats waited 18 days to respond. It is time for Democrats to get serious and work with us in earnest to govern responsibly.
The Maine Senate has voted unanimously to pass emergency legislation to support Maine's public defense services. The Maine Commission on Public Defense Services announced last week that they had reached a critical funding level, potentially jeopardizing the state's obligation to provide attorneys to criminal defendants who cannot afford one on their own. LD 2059 provides an immediate one-time funding allotment of $13 million to address the budget shortfall and to ensure the services are not interrupted. According to the bill's sponsor, Senator Ann Carney, the funding will support attorney pay and retention through the 4th quarter of this fiscal year.
It addresses the urgency of the situation and reassures those assigned counsel who are participating in the public defense system that we know them, we know that their work is really important to our system here in Maine, and we are here to take care of them and make sure that they are compensated for their good work.
The bill was removed from the Senate Special Appropriations table following a unanimous vote of the approval by the Appropriations and Financial Affairs Committee. It will now head directly to the governor's desk for consideration. The governor has 10 days to sign the bill, veto it, or she could allow it to go into law without her signature.
Penobscot and Piscataquis County District Attorney Christopher Olney says he will not run for re-election again. Olney first took the position in 1985 and served until 2018. Then he reassumed the role of DA in 2022. He's tried numerous criminal cases in the state and says he will continue working as an attorney. He just won't hold the title of DA. He is endorsing current ADA Chelsea Lins to be the next district attorney for Penobscot and Piscataquis County.
With issues like health care taking center stage this election cycle, the Maine Primary Care Association held a gubernatorial candidate forum in Augusta yesterday to discuss the future of Maine's health care system. Our Grace Blanchard was also there.
A group of bipartisan gubernatorial candidates fielded questions from the community and healthcare workers on how they intend to strengthen healthcare in Maine. A central theme of the candidate forum was strategies for mitigating healthcare workforce shortages and incentivizing primary care recruitment.
I think in order to attract more provider capacity of all types into Maine, we should stop making Maine a no-fly zone for innovative healthcare providers.
We really have to work on the rural communities and make it attractive for folks to, invest there and make their lives there.
I think the best thing that we can do to build a strong workforce is to do a much better job of educating our kids.
The discussion delved into budgetary priorities for primary care and community health centers.
Community health centers are the only place where you don't get the training dollars, the direct support for workforce training. We need to correct that.
So we have to find a way to reappropriate money. One of my biggest policies that I'm fighting for, and I'm going to say it again, is oversight. The DAECHS Oversight Committee, we see all kinds of waste, fraud, and abuse.
The state needs to step up to invest in healthcare infrastructure because the closure of the hospitals, the closure of the birthing centers, the closure of primary care practices is indicative of a lack of basic funding.
Candidates were also asked about improving affordability for Maine people and families.
Whether that's housing, childcare, education, cost of living, or debt, all of these things make it that much more difficult to come to Maine.
The prescription drug coverage, I really do feel that the state has a real ability to go after that and go after Big Pharma, and I am going to do that as governor.
The next governor needs to redouble efforts to ensure that people are enrolled in Medicaid at a time in which Donald Trump is hoping that they will be pushed off.
The candidates all reached a consensus that Maine's next governor must address the state's escalating healthcare crisis. In Augusta, Grace Blanchard, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
The time now is 8:12. Coming up next on Good Morning Maine, gas prices are continuing to climb. We'll have tips on how to make your next tank stretch a bit further.
But first, another check of that forecast. A cloudy day ahead today with high temperatures around 37 degrees. Mostly cloudy with a chance of snow tonight, lows dropping down to the mid-20s. Tomorrow, also a chance of rain and snow in the afternoon, highs around 44. We'll be right back.
Even if your child has moderate to severe eczema, they can feel the flow, feel the breeze. And Dupixent helps them feel the heal. It helps calm a key source of inflammation under the skin that can cause eczema. Dupixent is the only biologic therapy approved to treat kids as young as 6 months for noticeably clearer skin and less itch. Severe allergic reactions, including skin reactions, can occur. Get help right away for face, mouth, tongue, or throat swelling, wheezing, or trouble breathing. Tell your doctor of new or worsening eye problems like eye pain or vision changes, skin symptoms, joint aches and pain, or a parasitic infection. Don't change or stop other treatments without talking to your doctor. Dupixent. Help heal their skin from within so they can stay ahead of eczema. Find an eczema specialist and ask about Dupixent today.
Bob's is bringing the wow back. You can wait for a sale price, or you can get wow-worthy prices every day at Bob's. Like this Playday sectional for just $7.99, delivered in days. Or this real marble dining set in 2 finishes. And with our everyday low prices plus flexible financing options, your tax refund goes further at Bob's.
And with tons of styles ready to ship and old furniture removal, you can get your furniture fast and easy.
Wow!
Oh my Bob.
At the Challenger Learning Center of Maine, our mission to inspire Maine students has never been stronger. Our newly renovated facility is open and ready to launch. We have upgraded simulator rooms, refreshed learning spaces, and new hands-on STEM experiences. Check out our exciting upcoming events for students, educators, and families. There's always something happening at Challenger. Ready for liftoff? Explore what's new and what's next at the Challenger Learning Center of Maine. Visit astronaut.org for details.
A small group gathered in downtown Bangor yesterday to voice opposition to the war in Iran. The gathering took place on the Hammond Street Bridge across from Hannibal Hamlin Parkway. According to one organizer, those in attendance included members from Veterans for Peace Maine, the Peace and Justice Center of Eastern Maine, and people from the community.
It's okay to say you don't want to support another country, and it doesn't make you hate the people of that country, right? And that's why people are out here all the time now. We've got protests and vigils all over the state going all the time. And these wars are literally killing us, but they are killing our economy. They're killing our standing in the world.
Wednesday's gathering was organized by the Peace and Justice Center of Eastern Maine.
Legislative Democrats shared an update on efforts to lower electric bills for middle and low income households. LD 1949, an Energy Fairness Act, has been passed by both the House and the Senate and was sent to the governor's desk. The bill comes as residents are struggling with rising energy costs, and according to the bill's sponsor, Senator Ann Carney, it will require the Maine Public Utilities Commission to develop an electricity affordability metric, analyze delivery rates, and consider the impact on affordability for residential customers.
It ensures that when rates are reviewed, policies are shaped, the PUC asks and also answers that important question: can Maine people afford this?
Representative Melanie Sachs of Freeport also outlined a bill that aims to put a temporary pause on data centers over 20 megawatts and bring together key stakeholders to respond to a rapidly evolving industry. The proposals are part of a broader effort by legislative Democrats to deliver cost relief for Maine families.
With gas prices climbing sharply over the past month, drivers across the country are feeling the impact. While experts say it's unclear when prices may go down, our Alex Schley says there are steps you can take now to help your next tank go a bit further.
Whether you've just been driving around town or headed out on a road trip, drivers say these rising prices are hard to ignore.
I was avoiding coming to the pump just now.
According to AAA, the average price of gas in Maine is now over $3.60, a 15-cent increase in the past week and 60 cents higher than this time last year.
And with the prices these are, it's crazy.
AAA officials say there are a variety of factors contributing to the recent spike.
It's typical this time of year to see prices increase as we increase our travels, prepare for spring break, and with the warmer weather, people are on the roads more, so it's pretty typical to see the prices increase.
However, experts say it's not since 2022 have consumers seen gas prices jump this much. Drivers say it's putting pressure on their wallet.
Certainly slims the budgets on being able to do fun things and any sort of extracurricular time you get. When things get more expensive, it takes away from the fun you get to have.
Well, AAA says it's unclear how high prices will go. In the meantime, there are some things you can do to help make your tank go further.
Number one, slow down. There is a direct relation to how fast someone is going and the fuel efficiency of their vehicle. Also, make sure their tires are properly inflated. Tires that are underinflated are less fuel efficient.
AAA officials say planning your route efficiently when running errands can also help prevent burning unnecessary fuel. In Bangor, Alex Schley for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Anything we can do to help these days.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, the time now is 8:19. After the break, ripple effects from the war in the Middle East are making groceries and other essentials more expensive as well.
Everything's going up. What are we going to do? Plus, March is National Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month. We'll hear from a survivor with some good advice coming up on Good Morning Maine.
Paramount Paving, Maine's go-to for all your paving and seal coating. Paramount Paving offers commercial and residential paving and seal coating services throughout eastern and central Maine. Give us a call for a free estimate today. Paramount Paving. When it comes to paving, we are Paramount.
I'm Barry Higgins from Maple Lane Farm. We have our own beef herd here. We're on about 800 head, and it's raised right here on the farm. And we go direct to the consumer. No middleman, all natural, good old-fashioned Maine beef. Our quality is unbeatable. We have specials on Facebook every week. We guarantee our product 100%, whether it be beef, pork, or chicken. And we have a small selection of lamb also.
Maple Lane Farm, a candy store for a carnivore.
Get ready for mowing season, for hauling season, and exploring season. Get ready for tearing it up, cutting it down, and working all around season. Because it's bad boy season, all year long. Bad boy, power, performance, attitude.
Diabetes isn't a death sentence, but it is absolutely a life sentence, and you have to figure out how you're going to keep your kid alive. So when you find somebody from the government that's on your side, and it happens to be Susan Collins at the same time, that was just magnificent. After the meeting in Portland for my wife and son, my wife came back. She was 10 feet tall. She'd felt seen, she felt heard, and she felt like we had a powerful advocate on our side. It was a big step towards healing.
Thank you, Senator Collins.
Please continue delivering for T1 families.
Paramount Paving, Maine's go-to for all your paving and seal coating. Paramount Paving offers commercial and residential paving and seal coating services throughout eastern and central Maine. Give us a call for a free estimate today. Paramount Paving. When it comes to paving, we are Paramount.
According to the American Cancer Society, colorectal cancer is the second most common cause of cancer death in men and women here in the U.S.
Our Doug Banks spoke with one recent survivor about his story and how early detection most likely saved his life.
Brett Baber has been an attorney here in Maine
for 40 years.
But the years to come were put in jeopardy by a discovery during a routine colonoscopy last year.
So I was expecting to hear I might have some polyps that were removed, and I did have some polyps, but he also told me that I had this colon tumor.
Less than a month later, that small tumor on his upper intestinal wall was surgically removed. He currently goes through periodic monitoring at a local cancer center, bypassing radiation and chemotherapy thanks to early detection.
Could you imagine if you maybe postponed that screening last year?
I might not be here right now. I literally might be dead.
Studies show when caught early, colorectal cancer has up to a 91% 5-year survival rate. When caught late, that number drops to 16%.
If you get into stage 3 or stage 4 cancer, meaning it's spread outside the intestinal wall, it becomes a major leading cause of cancer deaths. So if you catch it early, good results. If you don't catch it early, you can die from it.
March is Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month, and getting a screening earlier in life is becoming more encouraged. The standard age to get your first has moved to 45 years old.
Either a colonoscopy, a stool sample, or now they have a blood test, remarkably, that can detect cancer cells in your bloodstream.
Information on symptoms, screenings, and more can be found on our website, foxbangor.com.
The best test is the one that's done. If you bury your head in the sand, you could get a very bad outcome. So I implore you to get your test done.
In Bangor, Doug Banks, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Bottom line, listen to your body.
Absolutely.
Talk to your doctor and get those tests. I've had a few myself over the years, and they're not fun.
No, they're not.
But it sure beats the alternative.
All good advice there.
Yeah.
Now let's turn things over to meteorologist Devin Biggs.
All righty, Craig and Janessa, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Quality Automotive and Brewer. Experience the Quality Automotive difference. Reliable service and expert care that you can depend on. Call us to schedule your next appointment, 922-2043. Arnie, wave height's not too bad this morning at around 4 feet, so not too terrible out there, right? While farther off towards the east, again at around around 5 to even 7 feet. So compared to yesterday, a lot calmer out there. And in fact, on land, we're just waking up to some clouds, and we'll hold on to those clouds out there today. We'll be under a mostly cloudy sky, and we are seeing a little bit of returns on the radar. We don't have to worry about those. We will stay dry out there today. Notice some moisture over parts of New York State. And again, we are going to stay dry, some more moisture developing over Canada. We will be watching for more returns coming in later on tonight. We will be under a mostly cloudy sky for us today. There is that moisture moving in as we head towards early Friday morning, clearing out throughout the day Friday with some sunshine, more clouds by the afternoon. A late chance for a little bit of precipitation, primarily as rain and snow through Friday afternoon and a Friday evening, getting out of here pretty quickly early Saturday morning as we hold on to the clouds. As with result of the snowfall, again, primarily further off towards the north, we're looking at around a couple inches there, while farther down toward the south, not a whole lot, around a ½ inch before we're all finished up. So not a whole lot of snow, but something that we'll need to monitor overall. But with results to today, again, upper 30s under a mostly cloudy sky, and that south wind at around 25 miles per hour. But later on tonight, we have low 20s, mostly cloudy, some snow showers, again, not a whole lot, and that south wind at around 5 miles per hour. Tomorrow afternoon, rain and snow chances, highs in the mid 40s, and that west wind at around 5 to even 10 miles per hour. Okay, as we check out your extended forecast, brought to you by Quality Automotive and Brewer. So again, tonight we do have a chance for some snow, and then we catch a break, and then by Friday, another chance for rain and snow. Not a great way to welcome in spring, but then for your Saturday, we'll be under a mostly cloudy sky with highs in the mid 40s. More rain and snow for your Sunday with highs in the low 40s, and then mid 30s coming up for your Monday with a chance for snow.
Dreaming of a new garage or custom build? Patriot Landscaping and Construction delivers from frame to finish. Expert craftsmanship, durable designs, and quality you can trust, we get it done right. Call Patriot Landscaping and Construction today. Let's build your future together.
Come home to the kitchen of your dreams. At Atlantic Designs, we redefine kitchen spaces, turning your dreams into reality. Our experienced designers ensure you get a stunning new kitchen while bringing function and style to every corner. Whether you're on a tight budget or ready to splurge, we've got the perfect plan for you. Your dream kitchen is closer than you think. So contact Atlantic Designs today and start the process. Your dream kitchen awaits with the kitchen people at Atlantic Designs.
Chevy trucks are as capable and dependable as the Chevy people who drive them. You probably know one. Your sister. Your buddy. The ones who always show up. They all have that little extra something. And maybe you got it too.
It's Chevy Truck Month. Right now, get over $7,300 total value on this 2026 Chevy Silverado. Plus, Costco Executive members can get a $12.50 members-only incentive.
Want to save $1,000? Switch to Spectrum and we guarantee you will. Seriously, you can hold us to it. Switch to Spectrum fiber-powered internet and 2 mobile lines for just $30 a month each. That's $1,000 in real savings in your first year, guaranteed, or we'll cover the difference. We call it the Spectrum Savings Guarantee. So call this number now, switch, and save $1,000 on internet and mobile. It's a guaranteed no-brainer.
Dreaming of a new garage or custom build? Patriot Landscaping and Construction delivers from frame to finish. Expert craftsmanship, durable designs, and quality you can trust, we get it done right. Call Patriot Landscaping and Construction today. Let's build your future together.
New attacks on oil and gas facilities in the Middle East raising major concern in the financial markets. Oil prices have spiked once again, with crude hitting nearly $110 a barrel, and the Pentagon has reportedly asked the White House to request more money from Congress to fund the war. ABC's Patrick Reevell has more.
Overnight, a dramatic escalation in attacks on energy facilities in the Middle East, causing oil and gas prices to jump. Qatar reporting multiple fires at the world's largest liquefied natural gas terminal. The Qatari government saying Iranian missiles targeting the terminal. The new escalation triggered by Israel bombing the world's largest gas field in Iran, the South Pars gas field. Iran vowing to retaliate. Trump warning if that were to happen, the US will massively blow up the entirety of the South Pars gas field. Iran has also threatened energy sites in the UAE and Saudi Arabia. This explosion in the Saudi capital. The Washington Post reports the Pentagon has now requested another $200 billion for the war. US Central Command says more than 7,800 targets have now been struck in Iran and 120 Iranian ships have been damaged or destroyed. National Intelligence Director Tulsi Gabbard testified on Capitol Hill yesterday. She was asked whether Iran posed an immediate threat before the US attacked.
It is not the intelligence community's responsibility to determine what is and is not an imminent threat.
Okay.
That is up to the president based on a volume of information
it is precisely
that he receives.
It is precisely your responsibility to determine what constitutes a threat to the United States.
The only person who can determine what is and is not an imminent threat is the president.
No, you're evading a question because to provide a candid response to the committee would contradict a statement from the White House.
The Strait of Hormuz, of course, remains paralyzed, and the longer this war goes on, the greater the economic consequences, and there is no quick end in sight. Patrick Reevell, ABC News, Doha.
Meanwhile, here at home, it's not just gasoline that's getting more expensive. Everything from fruits and vegetables to fertilizer is causing sticker shock. Here's Andrea Fujii with more.
We've all heard gas prices are going up, but the ripple effects from the war in the Middle East are spreading far and wide.
It's a definite shock to the system. When one of your main products that you need goes up 47% in 2 weeks, it's hard to digest that.
Farmers are fuming over fertilizer. The Middle East is a major supplier, and now, because of reduced shipments, some farmers worry they could face an extra $100,000 in fertilizer costs this season.
I think you'll see some farmers switch some corn acres to bean acres, and I haven't pulled that trigger and decided to do that yet, but I'm sure thinking about it.
Gas prices are up 92 cents per gallon in the last month, but diesel rising even faster, up $1.33 per gallon, driving up transportation costs.
I'm not a truck driver, I'm a construction worker, but it all flows the same, right? So cost of diesel goes up, everything goes up.
That means higher prices at the grocery store, and new data shows wholesale prices were already rising before the war. For example, vegetable prices were up 48% last month compared to the same time last year. Vice President J.D. Vance says high prices stemming from the war are only a temporary blip, and he says the Trump administration is taking action.
We're working on a number of things. In fact, a couple of things that I think will be announced in just the next 24 to 48 hours. I don't want to get ahead of the president on that, but we recognize this is an issue.
Everything from airfare to Uber rides will be affected by these higher oil and gas prices. One analyst says if gas prices stay this high for 1 year, a typical household will spend an extra $1,100. Andrea Fujii, ABC News, New York.
Coming up on the second half of the newscast, we'll hear from the Bangor Humane Society and meet our pet of the week.
We always look forward to that.
Yes, we do.
That's straight ahead.
Purple Coat Bangor is open and ready for business. Jump into the best products, pricing, and customer service in town. Join a growing community with monthly events, art and music nights, daily specials, and plenty of good vibes. Located at 431 Audlin Road, right off of 395. Stop by and check us out today.
From the heart of Maine, where rugged beauty meets timeless craftsmanship, Richard Henderson & Sons Masonry, taming the outdoors through groundwork, retaining walls and seawalls, building custom fireplaces that become the centerpiece of your home, crafting granite steps and patios that invite you outdoors, designing hardscapes that turn yards into living spaces, built to last, crafted for life. Richard Henderson & Sons Masonry, quality in every stone.
Purple Coat Bangor is open and ready for business. Jump into the best products, pricing, and customer service in town. Join a growing community with monthly events, art and music nights, daily specials, and plenty of good vibes. Located at 431 Audlin Road, right off of 395. Stop by and check us out today.
You're watching Fox 22, Bangor.
Welcome back to Good Morning Maine. Today is Thursday, March 19th, 2026, and this is also International Read to Me Day.
This is a day that's focused on the importance of reading to children. Whether it's for 10 minutes or an hour, reading can help kids develop their imagination, their knowledge, and their ability to read even before they're ready for school. Reading to children can also inspire a love for reading that they'll enjoy throughout the rest of their lives.
Great, some great memories in the process.
Oh,
It's not
absolutely.
only for kids either. I've seen other people read for the elderly, people who
Yeah.
have problems with sight impairment, that kind
Right.
of thing.
Yeah.
You can join a group that does that as well.
It's all helpful for
Yeah.
sure, yeah.
All right, it's time for some history. It was on this day in history back in 1918, the U.S. Congress approved daylight saving time. In 1931, Nevada legalized gambling in an effort to lift the state out of the Great Depression. In 1953, on this date, the 25th Academy Awards ceremony was the first one to ever be televised. A film called The Greatest Show on Earth would win the Oscar that year for Best Picture. And in 1957, on this day, Elvis Presley put a down payment on his Graceland mansion. He made a $1,000 deposit toward the $102,000 price tag. Elvis, of course, he needed a larger home base for his growing entourage and also lived there with his family.
That's a pretty good price for a mansion.
$102,000, not bad.
And in 1990, the first World Hockey Tournament for women was held in Ottawa. In 1994, the world's largest omelet was cooked in Japan using 160,000 eggs. That's a lot.
A lot of eggs.
It is. In 1995, basketball great Michael Jordan returned to play for the Chicago Bulls 17 months after announcing his retirement. He would go on to win 3 more NBA championships. And lastly, in 2003, during a televised address, President George W. Bush announced coalition forces had begun a war with Iraq. He claimed Iraq had developed weapons of mass destruction, although none were ever found. Bush would declare victory just over 5 weeks later with his mission accomplished speech.
All right, for birthdays today, they include actor Bruce Willis, who is 71 today, NFL coach Andy Reid is 68, and actress Glenn Close is 79 years old today. Happy birthday to you also, if your birthday is today.
We'll turn things right back over to meteorologist Devin Biggs.
And thank you very much, Craig and Janessa. Happy Thursday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Quality Automotive and Brewer. Experience a quality automotive difference. Reliable service and expert care that you can depend on. Call us to schedule your next appointment. 922-2043. Alrighty, here we go. We have some clouds that are passing through this morning. Otherwise, looking pretty quiet. It's going to be a quiet day for us, but we will be watching for more snow that will be on the way for us coming up later on tonight. As we do zoom things out, not a whole lot going on, a little bit of snow developing further off towards the west. Our next wave of energy will be further off towards the north and west. So as we check out Futurecast, we will have clouds developing. Futurecast trying to show a little bit of snow, but we will be under a mostly cloudy sky for us today. And there's that next wave of energy further off towards the north and west that will be passing through for us later on tonight, clearing out as we head towards your Friday. As for the wind, we'll have some gusty winds up to around 25 miles per hour, and that will be backing off later on tonight, but picking up again as we head towards your Friday, backing off for a little bit during the afternoon. Your hourly forecast moving forward. Again, some clouds out there with temperatures warming into the 30s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Craig and Janessa.
Thank you, Devin. Still to come here this morning, Jack Webb with sports.
And we'll meet our pet of the week. Don't go away.
When the unexpected happens. Really? We'll get you running again. Uninterrupted. Together, we're united. United Ag and Turf, your local John Deere dealer.
Whether you're a first-time do-it-yourselfer or your third generation, Rock Auto has all the parts your car will ever need.
All the parts your car will ever need, Rock Auto. Make Easter moments magical with the Gold Bunny from Lindt.
Welcome to outdoor living. Welcome to Granville Stone and Hearth. Goodness knows we've been cooped up long enough. Make plans now to enjoy the outside of your home, too. Come to Granville and see, touch, and imagine what you can do in your backyard. Light a path, light a fire, grill a meal, sit a bit. It's all in stock. There's a staycation right outside your door with expert help from Granville, one of the largest outdoor living suppliers in Maine. Granville Stone and Hearth, Main Road, Holden.
Looking for a great glass at prices that don't break the bank? The Cheese House in Fairfield has you covered. From classic designs to unique styles, our huge selection of quality glassware is perfect for every taste and every budget. Friendly staff, honest pricing, and new pieces arriving all the time. There's always something fresh to see. Stop into the Cheese House at 5 Pike Drive, Fairfield. Great glass, great prices, and a great time.
It's the new season of Next Level Chef, and the competition is more chaotic than ever.
That's crazy.
Next Level Chef, all new tonight on Fox.
Welcome back in, folks. March Madness kicks off this week, and our Max Sturm went over to Husson University to pick the brains of students and coaches before the tournament begins.
Jenkins gives it to Jenkins for the championship.
This is March Madness. The tournament serves as one of the most exciting times in sports every year, and it seems to pull every kind of sports fan together.
It's just a really emotional time, I think, when you watch the games. You know, for some players, it's the last time that they're going to play in their basketball career. Others will go on.
It builds a community. Like, everybody's doing it. No matter if you watch one team or you watch every game and you have split screens and research and you bet. It really, everybody comes together.
Some of the year's best sports moments are born during March Madness, and many of them go on to be remembered for years.
I really loved the Gonzaga and UCLA run. That was the Final Four, I think, in 2021, where Jalen Suggs hit the buzzer beater in overtime.
I remember when Notre Dame, was playing UConn, and Enrique Agumbawali, hit a three sort of down the stretch, and Notre Dame won that.
One of the components that makes March Madness so fun is filling out a bracket with the hopes of predicting the national champion. Some do hours of research to create the perfect bracket, and others completely wing it.
I always make a real one first that is based off of research and what I like to call ball knowledge.
If there's a team that I've just liked following because it's the coach, or I just have enjoyed watching the team play, even if they're the lower ranked, I will pick them just because I want to see, how far they'll go.
Upsets are another exciting part of the tournament, and this year, 2 Husson students agree fans should be on the lookout for one team in particular to make a run.
I think one team people got to watch out for, sneaky Hawaii.
I had them ended up beating Arizona down there. So Hawaii is going to be my team to kind of go through.
So who will be crowned the national champion this season?
This has been a tough debate for me because there's so many great teams, but I'm leaning Michigan.
I think Michigan can do it, and the whole stat that's like there's no national champion on the west side of the country since 1998. I kind of played a factor into it.
And on the women's side, there seems to be one favorite that the rest of the bracket will look to chase.
Yeah, I don't see anybody touching the UConn women.
The madness kicks off on Wednesday night in Bangor. Max Sturm, ABC 7 and Fox 22 Sports.
Thanks for that, Max. I got the Blue Devils taking it all home. Well, the World Baseball Classic wrapped up on Tuesday night, and it finished in disappointment for the United States and their fans. Venezuela beat the U.S. 3-2 after allowing just 3 hits to a star-studded American lineup. Red Sox outfielder Wilyer Abreu launched a home run in the top of the 5th to make it 2-0, and that score would hold until Bryce Harper hit a 2-run blast to tie things up. However, that iconic moment was robbed of its significance when Venezuela won in the 9th. United States manager Mark DeRosa was asked if he and other players would want to participate again. Here was his very clear answer.
If you saw how hurting the guys were in that locker room right now, you'd know why. I mean, for some reason, this WBC has become a tidal wave of emotion for a lot of guys. You get them in the room representing their country, coming together for 2.5 weeks. The buy-in, it's infectious in there. So yeah, special group to be a part of. Proud of the way we represented USA.
I'm not sure baseball's ever had as much momentum as it does right now. To the ice we go. With Maine men's hockey season over, players are free to sign pro contracts. And with all the recent injuries to the blue line, the Mariners have signed former University of Maine defenseman Brandon Chabrier to a contract. He's a 6 foot, 180-pound blue liner who played in 31 games with the Black Bears this season. Brendan drove from Orono to Portland. He hopped on a bus with his new team in Adirondack. Although he's disappointed with how the Black Bears season ended last Friday. Brendan is looking forward to the new challenge ahead.
Yeah, it was a quick couple days, and then, you get calls from different teams, and luckily I got a call from Maine, and it was honestly a no-brainer for me. 2 hours down the road. I get to still have all my buddies up in Orono. They can come visit me, and being close to school, just trying to finish out my degree is definitely important to me to graduate. So for me, obviously, it was a no-brainer, and I'm excited to be here.
Great to see a Black Bear staying in state. For now, that's all the time we have for sports. We'll right back up.
See the USA in your Chevrolet.
There's a Chevy for everyone to see the USA. SUVs that put more within reach. Affordable EVs that open up the map. And trucks that never compromise.
Right now, get $500 cash allowance on this 2026 Chevy Trax. Or well-qualified buyers can get 2.9% financing on all 2026 Trax models. Visit your Maine Chevy dealers.
It only took me 4 stories and 3 songs. And finally, she's fast asleep. Now, it's my time to unwind. With my irresistibly smooth, melting Lindor.
From me, the Lindt Master Chocolatier. Melt into your moment.
Diabetes isn't a death sentence, but it is absolutely a life sentence, and you have to figure out how you're going to keep your kid alive. So when you find somebody from the government that's on your side, and it happens to be Susan Collins at the same time, that was just magnificent. After the meeting in Portland for my wife and son, my wife came back. She was 10 feet tall. She'd felt seen, she felt heard, and she felt like we had a powerful advocate on our side. No, it was a big step towards healing.
Thank you, Senator Collins.
Please continue delivering for T1 families.
Think you're good at trivia? Arrange these holidays, these historic firsts, these animals. By the way,
I have no idea.
Congratulations, you have built the perfect line. I'm Deborah Norville, and this is The Perfect Line.
Onion rings before, in between onion rings and pizza.
Definitely after. This is what happy looks like.
Weekdays at 10 on Fox 22.
Look at that. She looks like a natural for TV, huh?
She is.
Yeah.
Look at that. Somebody just introduced me to the term spaghetti neck.
Yeah.
And I think
she's
it's
got that. Yeah.
it's
Welcome back,
fantastic.
everyone. It's time for our Pet of the Week segment with Catherine Ravenscraft from the Bangor Humane Society. Hi, Catherine.
Good morning.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Who'd you bring with you today?
This is my friend Elodie. Elodie is, we've aged her at around 9.5, which seems about right. She has definitely had at least a litter of puppies somewhere along the way, probably several, to look at her. And she does have some skin allergies. If you were here in person, you'd see that she's got some pretty pink skin. And her hair is sort of growing back. When she first came to us, probably about 6 weeks ago, she definitely had some hair loss.
And that's not too uncommon for this kind of a breed either.
It really isn't. Yeah, they tend to kind of have, whether she's a Staffordshire Terrier or American Bulldog mix, or they tend to have pretty sensitive skin. So she's on Apoquel. I don't know if it's daily or a couple of times a week, but our vet can talk to a prospective owner about that. Yeah.
But she is on the older side, which would be great for somebody looking for maybe a lower key animal that
Yeah,
won't eat a
exactly.
lot.
And another trait, another characteristic for these kinds of dogs is they're couch potatoes.
Right.
You know,
Yeah, me
they're
too.
just house hippos, and yeah.
Right.
They have lots of energy when it's time to go outside and play, and you know, she might be a good candidate for hikes and that sort of thing. But once that's all done,
I'm the same way, same point in my life.
Yes.
You know, a little spurt of energy and surrounded by rest periods.
yes,
so,
exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
It's awesome. But she is just an absolute sweetheart, as you can see.
Well, that was the next thing. As far as temperament goes, she's just, from the moment she walked in here, just full of love for everybody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She gets
She's
a
a
little
girl.
low. She approaches cautiously, and
Yep.
I frankly respect that brand of timidity in in an animal. And I think it's important that we respect them the same way. Approach slowly and give everybody time to get comfortable with each other. But yeah, once she gets the sense that you're fine, I mean, look at her.
Yeah,
she's right there for butt
She's
scritches.
been my
and
friend forever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
She
Well,
is
this
a
might be
good
great
girl.
for maybe somebody who's older or retired or somebody looking for a more low-key dog.
Exactly, yeah. And she is great on leash. She doesn't really pull a whole lot, which is awesome.
She's housebroken, all that. you
She
know?
is. There was
Yeah.
nothing in her kennel this morning, and yeah, she's just absolutely delightful. So we don't know how she's going to do with other dogs or cats.
Right.
She has spent a little time with one of our staff members. 10-year-old child has done great. I think she's probably going to do fine with just about anyone, but slow and gentle introductions. If you have another dog, she'll have to meet with the dog before, you know, we can send her home with you. But I think it's going to be pretty easy to find this girl a home.
She is beautiful. Hopefully somebody else there has some room in their house for her. Meanwhile, anything else going on over there? You're getting ready for kitten season. That's the busiest time of year.
Yeah, gearing up for kitten season. We'll be talking about kitten showers soon, so we'll be needing supplies for that. Right now, we're looking for supplies for enrichment activities for dogs. So those heavy-duty Kongs, peanut butter, frozen blueberries, easy cheese, you know, the squeezed cheese stuff, all of that good stuff. So if you have room in your budget when you're at the grocery store next, we'd love to have any of those items.
Anything helps, because it all costs money.
It does.
All
it
right.
does.
Well, thank you, Catherine, and thank you for coming in too.
you.
She's such a sweet girl.
She's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to send it back to Devin now for a final look at that forecast.
All righty, Craig and Janessa, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Quality Automotive and Brewer. Experience the Quality Automotive difference. Reliable service and expert care that you can depend on. Call us to schedule your next appointment, 922-2043. Arnie, wave height's not too bad this morning at around 4 feet, so not too terrible out there, right? While farther off towards the east, again, at around 5 to even 7 feet. So compared to yesterday, a lot calmer out there. And in fact, on land, we're just waking up to some clouds, and we'll hold on to those clouds out there today. We'll be under a mostly cloudy sky, and we are seeing a little bit of returns on the radar. We don't have to worry about those. We will stay dry out there today. Notice some moisture over parts of New York State. And again, we are going to stay dry, some more moisture developing over Canada. We will be watching for more returns coming in later on tonight. We will be under a mostly cloudy sky for us today. There is that moisture moving in as we head towards early Friday morning, clearing out throughout the day Friday with some sunshine, more clouds by the afternoon. A late chance for a little bit of precipitation, primarily as rain and snow through Friday afternoon and a Friday evening, getting out of here pretty quickly early Saturday morning as we hold on to the clouds. As with result of the snowfall, again, primarily further off towards the north, we're looking at around a couple inches there, while farther down toward the south, not a whole lot, around a ½ inch before we're all finished up. So not a whole lot of snow, but something that we'll need to monitor overall. But with results to today, again, upper 30s under a mostly cloudy sky, and that south wind at around 25 miles per hour. But later on tonight, we have low 20s, mostly cloudy, some snow showers, again, not a whole lot, and that south wind at around 5 miles per hour. Tomorrow afternoon, rain and snow chances, highs in the mid 40s, and that west wind at around 5 to even 10 miles per hour. Okay, as we check out your extended forecast, brought to you by Quality Automotive and Brewer. So again, tonight we do have a chance for some snow, and then we catch a break, and then by Friday, another chance for rain and snow. Not a great way to welcome in spring. But then for your Saturday, we'll be under a mostly cloudy sky with highs in the mid-40s. More rain and snow for your Sunday with highs in the low 40s. And then mid-30s coming up for your Monday with a chance for snow.
See the brand new Hyundai Tucson out there?
Yeah?
I only paid...
Enjoy your new car. Yeah, you too.
The Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Lease an all-wheel drive Hyundai Tucson SE for $209 a month or get 0% APR plus 0 payments for 90 days. Hurry in.
Craving something delicious? Welcome to High Street Market, located at 167 Enfield Road in Lincoln. Breakfast options? Grab a cup of coffee and try one of our sandwiches or burritos. When breakfast is over, we're just getting started. Pizza, subs, burgers, and pastries. Come get lost in Danny's Beer Cave. Order online and save 10% off your first order. High Street Market, where your taste buds go to party.
It's mowing season. And Bad Boy Mowers has the best lineup in the game. Built to win with more power, advanced engineering, and performance that never quits. Whether you're playing on this field or this field. So this mowing season, raise your game and join the team. Bad Boy, mow with an attitude.
You know Matt pretty well. Did he give you any advice?
He said that I should use 26 words or more. When every word counts.
Trash panda.
Raccoon.
Yeah.
You hand me a trash panda. That was gangster. It pays to choose wisely. Wed, Thurs.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You just won it!
25 words or less every weekday.
Weekdays at 9 on Fox 22.
See that brand new Hyundai Santa Fe?
Yeah.
I only paid...
Finish this bucket on your own.
Enjoy your new car.
The Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Right now, lease a Hyundai Elantra SE for $89 a month or get 0.99% APR for 60 months. Hurry in.
Two NASA astronauts, including one from Maine, embarked on a spacewalk yesterday. Astronaut Chris Williams and Maine's own Jessica Meir ventured outside the International Space Station to upgrade the orbiting lab's power generation system. Here's a look at, here it looks like they are simply trying to attach a part, but as you can see, even small tasks aren't so easy up in space.
Ready to receive the side pad.
Copy, there you are.
See the arrow is up.
Okay, Jessica, there's a warning I need to read to you that there's a pinch point between the side pad and the mask canister.
Copy.
And for you... And my red is locked out. Thank you.
This was Meir's fourth spacewalk and the first one for Williams.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
Well, a frisky leopard cat snatches food from an otter at a Russian zoo. And a leopard cat is caught on camera stealing fish from an otter who was caught off guard. The video captured at the Russian Nature Reserve was posted on social media on Tuesday. It shows the big cat startling the otter before stealing his food and then taking off. The otter dove for cover under the water, apparently not sure if he was the next meal or not. Scientists say they had never recorded such interactions between these species before.
Probably happens in the wild all the time.
Oh, I'm sure it does.
What a pretty cat. Huh. And a mischievous marsupial recently found itself in an unusual setting in the land down under. An Australian bush-tail possum was spotted hanging out in an airport gift shop in Australia on Wednesday. A customer first saw the animal perched on a shelf with kangaroo stuffed toys at the Hobart Airport in Tasmania State. Video from a staff member shows the possum's head curiously poking out and observing its surroundings. The furry friend then reportedly grew a little skittish and left the shop. Airport staff says they were able to remove the possum from the airport unharmed. It's unclear how it got into the store or how long it spent there as well.
It blends right in with all those stuffed animals, though.
I think he just wanted to cozy up.
I guess so.
Maybe take a little nap there.
That's too funny.
Yeah.
Well, that's all the time that we have left for this morning. But as always, we thank you for joining us.
Thanks for being there, everyone. We hope you have a great day.
Today on 25 Words or Less, he won the show Celebrity Apprentice, proving once and for all